So, guys, this is your boy Manny. So, just kind of wanted to go into depth about the NBA restart, just my reaction, just from what happened. So, first game, you have the Utah Jazz versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Zion Williams was back. So, let's just take a look at the highlights. All right, guys. So, those are the highlights, man. We're going to go ahead and dive into the box score. Obviously, these guys could not get it done. Very, very tough loss for them. Wants me to replay the highlights, but really don't want to. So we're just gonna just leave it here. Uh-oh. All right. So let's dive into the box score, man. Let's start with the New Orleans Pelicans first, since they were the losing team. So if you look at Brandon Ingram, he played 32 minutes, had 23 points. He didn't have a good shooting game necessarily, 7 for 20 from the field. He shot terribly from the three-point line, 25%. He made his free throws, so he missed one. He had a -1 on the plus minus. So he had a good impact game. Zion only played 15 minutes, had 13 points, didn't have much of an impact, even though I didn't watch the full game. The times when he was in there, he looked okay. And then when they really needed him, they couldn't play him because they're going to ease him back into, playing. Favors was a non-factor with 2 points, dealing with Gobert. Drew Holiday had 20. JJ Redick had 21. I made some big threes down the stretch. Josh Hart stepped up with 10 and Etwan Moore 8. So I saw some news about Derek Favors and Etwan Moore possibly not being part of the future. And I mean, that's understandable. I mean, I don't expect them to be part of the future as well. So let's dive into the stats for the Utah Jazz. You got Royce O'Neal. He had 12 points. Ingles had 13. Gobert had 14. Donovan Mitchell and Conley both had 20. And then Clarkson had a huge 23. If Clarkson is giving his team 23, 20 off the bench, that's huge. But then outside of Clarkson, you don't see nobody else. Moutier didn't do anything. Yang didn't do anything. Bradley did nothing. So they definitely need more consistency out of their bench. But Jordan Clarkson is a bucket. I mean, Laker fans know him for being a guy who scores the ball. So that's that, man. Let's dive into the Laker game, the headliner of the restart yesterday. I'm gonna pull up the box score. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna look at the highlights and then we're gonna talk about it. I definitely have more to say about the Lakers, that being my squad. But yeah, let's dive into these highlights first. Paul George came in there, shut him down. So LeBron's defense was just amazing at the end of the game. So guys, let's dive into the box score. You know how we do it. So Kawhi Leonard, man, had 28 points, right? Paul George had 30. Kawhi shot 7 for 16, which isn't great, but it's not bad at all. He made 75% of his threes, made three big ones. Paul George caught fire more so in the second half. He shot 11 for 17, 64%, amazing. Shot 6 for 11 from the three, 54%, amazing. So outside of Paul George and Kawhi, let's look at everybody else. Reggie Jackson had a big first half. He had 10 points, and then Beverly had 12 off the bench. So that point guard position really gave them some major points and stability between those two guys. Joakim Noah did some stuff that you won't see in a box score. Joakim Noah was real solid yesterday, even though that his plus minus says -12. He did some really solid things yesterday. Landry Shamet, nothing. Jermichael Green, I think he hit those two big threes that were annoying to me. It pissed me off. So Jermichael Green hit some big threes. I don't remember Amir Kofi hitting anything, but he hit a three, and Patrick Peterson hit a three. So the Clippers shot 16 for 36 from the three, 44%. That's amazing. Their threes kept them in the game. And I do know that the Clippers had a lot of turnovers yesterday. They had 20 turnovers, but I don't know if the Lakers were able to really make use of those turnovers. But yeah, Clippers had turnovers. Obviously, Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell didn't play. Off the bench, those two guys run a pick and roll, which creates their entire offense. Now, I understand that both guys are averaging 18 a game, but There were games that Kawhi and Paul George didn't play. So those numbers are slightly skewed, but both guys are a big piece to what they do. Everybody's saying that if Montrezl Harrell played, that AD would have had problems. Montrezl Harrell cannot guard AD. So just stop with all that. All right, so we dive into the Lakers stats right here. So LeBron had 16. He had a terrible night from the floor. He shot 6 for 19, 31%. Terrible. Wasn't making the three ball. Anthony Davis made 40% of his threes, which was solid. He shot okay, 18 for 19. But the big thing was he got to the line 17 times and he hit every free throw but one. So 94% from the free throw line, that was huge. That's 16 extra points added to the domination that he had. People expect AD to be a guy who dominates on the inside. He's not that kind of guy. He's more of a finesse kind of power forward, but he does play defense. JaVale McGee had 6 points, a JaVale McGee type game, had 7 rebounds. Danny Green had 6 points. He hit a couple of big threes. KCP had 6, but his 6 was not really effective in any way to me. Now, the big X factor of the game, we're going to talk about the X factors of the game for the Lakers. There was 3 of them. Kyle Kuzma had 16 points. He shot 50% from the field, 57% from the three. His shot is back. He's fully healthy, and he's really working better off the bench, especially without Rondo being there, in my opinion. I think that Rondo was really slowing Kyle Kuzma down, but he's confident. And his defense on Kawhi and Paul George was amazing. He played the best defense besides LeBron on that last stretch. He played the best defense on against versus everybody yesterday. So I'm really proud to see him grow as a defender. Caruso just does Caruso type things. He had 7 points with 7 big points. The only flaw in his game yesterday was that he missed both of his wide open threes. But other than that, he had an amazing game. He was in the stealing lane. He got that steal at the end that kind of sealed that victory for the Lakers. Dion Waiters, man, he is a blessing in disguise. He had 11 points, 11 big points. Although he shot 1 for 6 from three, he was able to get into the lane at will and just hit some crazy, amazing layups. J.R. Smith came in for 7 minutes, didn't really do anything. Markieff Morris played 3 minutes, didn't do anything. Dwight Howard had 1 point and 5 fouls. He just could not get into a rhythm at all. Uh, Rebound wise, LeBron had 11, AD had 8, JaVale had 7, and then Kuzma had a big 7. See, Kuzma, not only is he scoring, his rebounding is going up, and most games recently he's rebounding the ball very well. Offensive rebounds, JaVale had 4, and then a few guys had 2. So I feel like we rebounded the ball well. We had 16 turnovers, 4 less than the Clippers. So we gotta fine tune that. LeBron had 5 turnovers. He has to limit that, but he was able to create plays. There was a lot of times when he passed to open guys and they just didn't knock down the three. So he would have had more than 7 assists, most definitely. But block wise, LeBron had a block, and Dion Waiters had one. Kuzma had a nice block on Kawhi. I loved it, man. I loved every minute of this game. We played a very good, tough, grind out defensive game. Plus minus, they have Danny Green minus 17. Danny Green just didn't have a good. I mean, he was getting killed. Defensively, he couldn't guard anybody, and I just felt like had the coach gone to Caruso and Kyle Kuzma guarded some of those guys for the Clippers, it would have bolted well for the Lakers. Deion Waiters was a plus 17. He was a big factor. Now, I know that the plus and minus, you can't just read too much into it, but sometimes you do. But it was a great game. I think that if Kyle Kuzma is giving you anywhere between 12 to 15 points and Dion is giving you about 10 a game, that's all the scoring that you need to compete with the Lou Williams and the Montrezl Harrell. Because at the end of the day, the Lakers starters are going to give you more. You know what I'm saying? Guys like KCP, he's not going to have, just 6 points sometimes. KCP can fill it up. KCP can score. When he's on. Same thing with Danny Green. Danny Green is more of a, knockdown shooter, but he can do that. So we have multiple guys. And then don't forget J.R. Smith. He can come in and he's very streaky. So Lakers have the great complement of shooters and floor spacers to really do what they like to do, which is spread the floor, give LeBron the ball, and just work between LeBron and AD. People are saying that the Lakers only won by 2, even though that Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams did not play. I say this. LeBron is not going to have just 16 points the next time. He's going to ball out. So, guys, that's my little spiel on the NBA restart. It's a great start to it. So, I'm looking forward to the rest. Let's get it.